Excerpt from Mexico's Fight for Independence by Terry Miller Shannon. Revolution. Spain ruled for 3 centuries, calling the area New Spain. The conquerors' main goal was wealth, so they stole Mexican treasures. They also set up a system in which Spanish immigrants owned the land. They made the natives their slaves. This created 2 classes of people in Mexico, the very rich and the very poor. Over the years, the Spanish immigrants married the natives of Mexico. Their children were a mix of Spanish and native blood. As time went by, these mixed blood people became the majority. They considered themselves true Mexicans, not Spaniards or natives. By the beginning of the 1800s, the Mexican people wanted their country to become independent. They were inspired by the way other countries fought to win freedom. Mexicans no longer wanted Spain to rule their country. They wanted to be a free country led by Mexicans. For that, they needed a revolution or a fight to replace the Spanish rulers with their own form of government. The Creoles were the first group of Mexicans to think about revolution. They were born in Mexico to parents from Spain who had settled in Mexico. Compared to people living in Mexico and born in Spain, the Creoles were seen as second-class citizens. They didn't have the same privileges as those born in Spain. They were unhappy with their lack of political power and began to plan a revolution. The Spaniards learned of their plans, and the Creoles started the revolution ahead of schedule. Very early on September 16, 1810, a priest named Miguel Hidalgo y Costilla rang the bell of his church. He yelled, "Viva Mexico! Viva la Independencia!" This is known as the cry of independence. Hidalgo was calling out to Mexicans to fight Spanish rule and to take Mexico back. By the end of October, 80,000 people had joined Hidalgo's army. Hidalgo's soldiers conquered 2 large cities and a few others, but they were defeated by the biggest city, Mexico City. In 1811, Hidalgo was captured and killed by the Spanish, but the fight for independence continued. The next leader of the rebellion was another priest named José María Morelos y Pavón. He issued the first formal call for independence at a congress he held in 1813. He wrote up a constitution for a Mexican republic. However, in 1815, Morelos was also captured and killed by the Spanish. For the next 5 years, there was no real leader of the Mexican Revolution. By 1816, Spanish soldiers had killed most of the rebels. Spain's king forced Mexicans to pay taxes. The king's harsh actions caused many Mexicans who hadn't taken part in the revolution to now turn against Spain. In 1820, there was a revolution in Spain. The Creoles believed this would be a perfect time to try again for independence. In 1821, a Spanish colonel named Agustín de Iturbide was sent with 2,500 Spanish soldiers to stop a Mexican rebellion in central Mexico. A group of powerful Creoles approached Iturbide and convinced him to turn against his Spanish commander. He agreed to fight alongside them with his army in the Creoles' fight for independence. In exchange, Iturbide was to have the power to dictate the terms of Mexico's independence. In September of 1821, Iturbide led troops to conquer Mexico City, the center of Spanish government. He declared himself the head of the new independent government of Mexico. Spanish officials escaped and returned to Spain. Number 6. Question. Read the dictionary entry. Noun. The system of ordering a society in which people are divided into sets based on perceived social or economic status. Which word from the passage best matches the dictionary entry? A. Class. B. Majority. C. Immigrant. D. Convince. Number 7. Question. Read the sentences. In September 1821, Iturbide led troops to conquer Mexico City, the center of Spanish government. He declared himself the head of the new independent government of Mexico. Spanish officials escaped and returned to Spain. Pick the word or phrase that best defines conqueror as it is used in the sentences. A. Climb. B. Scale. C. Deal with. D. Take control of. Number 8. Read the dictionary entry. A special right, advantage, or immunity granted or available only to a particular person or group of people. Question. Circle the underlined word in the paragraph that mostly closely matches the definition of that word. The Creoles were in the first group of Mexicans to think about revolution. They were born in Mexico to parents from Spain who had settled in Mexico. Compared to people living in Mexico and born in Spain, the Creoles were seen as second-class citizens. They didn't have the same privileges as those born in Spain. They were very unhappy with their lack of political power and began to plan a revolution. The Spaniards learned of their plans, and the Creoles started the revolution ahead of schedule. Number 9. Read the sentences. Very early on September 16, 1810, a priest named Miguel Hidalgo y Costilla rang the bell of his church. He yelled, "Viva Mexico!" and "Viva la Independencia!" This is known as the cry of independence. Hidalgo was calling out to Mexicans to fight Spanish rule and to take Mexico back. Question. What does the author tell the reader with the use of cry? Choose 2 answers. A. Independence was saddening. B. Miguel Hidalgo y Costilla was saddened by the idea of revolution. C. Spain shed tears when Mexicans decided to fight the Spanish and take Mexico back. D. Mexico's cry was represented by Hidalgo's shout for independence. E. Hidalgo was yelling to call Mexicans to fight for independence from Spanish rule. F. Hidalgo was shouting in pain because he was being captured. Number 10. What happened in 1820? A. Iturbide led troops to conquer Mexico City. B. There was a revolution in Spain. C. Morelos was also captured and killed by the Spanish. D. The Mexican people wanted their country to become independent.